These parasitic roots are hostile roots. These are nothing but special type of adventitious roots. In this root hairs are present means here the root hairs are completely absent. And what is meant by parasite? Parasite, it is a plant which absorbs water, minerals and food materials from host. It is nothing but a parasite. But what is meant by host means which gives, host means which gives water, minerals and food materials, which gives water, minerals and as well as food materials to the parasite. It is called as a host. Is that clear? So what is meant by parasite? It is a plant which absorbs water, minerals and food materials from the host. And host means it is a plant which gives water, minerals and food materials to the parasite. It is nothing but a host. Now, which one produces this special type of adventitious roots or ostoral roots or parasitic roots means the parasite itself, it produces adventitious roots. It is also called as ostoral roots and it is also called as parasitic roots. And now here, how many types of parasites can be seen? With two types of parasites. One, it is a stem parasite. One, it is a stem parasite. One, it is a stem parasite. That means how many types of stem parasites they belongs to means two types of stem parasites. It belongs to two types of stem parasites. One, it is a complete stem parasite. One, it is a complete stem parasite. And another one, it is nothing but a incomplete stem parasite. One, it is complete stem parasite. Another one, it is a incomplete stem parasite. So how many examples? What is the example they given in this complete stem parasite means that is nothing but Cuscuta. So this Cuscuta, it is one of the complete stem parasite. That means whether it possesses leaves? No. This Cuscuta, it does not shows leaves. This Cuscuta, they does not shows leaves. And what happens means as Cuscuta, they does not shows leaves, so they cannot perform photosynthesis. They cannot perform which process? Photosynthesis. That means food materials are not prepared by Cuscuta due to the absence of leaves. Food materials are not prepared by Cuscuta due to the absence of leaves. That means photosynthetic products, they are not produced. That means this complete stem parasite, that is nothing but Cuscuta, penetrates its ostoral roots. Penetrates its which roots? Ostoral roots are also called as parasitic roots, are also called as special type of adventitious roots. Special type of adventitious roots into the stem of host, into the stem of which one here? Host. In order to absorb water and minerals, in order to absorb water and minerals and food materials. In order to absorb water and minerals and food materials, they are absorbed from the host, that is nothing but the stem. Which one is absorbing? That is nothing but the complete stem parasite. That complete stem parasite itself, it is nothing but Cuscuta, where the leaves are absent. Photosynthetic products, it is not produced. That means it is depending upon the host not only for water, it also depend upon the host not only for minerals, it also depend upon the host, but also for food materials. Also for food materials. Now what happens means this complete stem parasite, namely known as Cuscuta, it penetrates its ostoral roots. It penetrates its which roots here? Ostoral roots into the host. That means it penetrates its ostoral roots into the xylem of the host. Into the xylem of the host in order to absorb water and minerals. In order to absorb water and minerals, and ostoral roots penetrates into the phloem of the host. Ostoral roots penetrates into the phloem of the host in order to absorb food materials. In order to absorb which materials? Food materials. That means this Cuscuta, it is completely depending upon the host for water, for minerals and for food materials. So it is called as complete stem parasite. Now, the pastoral roots penetrates into the xylem, I told here just itself. But it penetrates either into the metaxylem or either into the protoxylem. Why? Because in TS of dicot root, in TS of which root? Dicot root, that means it shows end-arc xylem. It shows which xylem? End-arc xylem. That means it is nothing but protoxylem. That protoxylem is present towards center, whereas metaxylem present towards periphery. Metaxylem, it is present towards periphery or it is nothing but towards epidermis. That means pastoral roots first penetrates into the metaxylem or protoxylem, means first it penetrates into metaxylem in order to absorb water and minerals. I told here that pastoral roots penetrates into the xylem. Xylem shows metaxylem elements and protoxylem elements. That means in the stem, that condition, it is nothing but end-arc condition. What is meant by end-arc condition? End-arc condition, that is nothing but protoxylem towards center, metaxylem towards periphery. That means pastoral roots completely penetrates into which xylem? Metaxylem of the host in order to absorb water and minerals. This is about complete stem parasite. And next goes to incomplete stem parasite. Next goes to incomplete stem parasite. What is the example for incomplete stem parasite? That is nothing but viscum. That is nothing but which plant? Viscum. That means incomplete stem parasite, that is nothing but viscum. Whether it shows leaves or whether it does not shows leaves. Here in this viscum, it is incomplete stem parasite, it shows leaves. It shows leaves. That means it can perform photosynthesis. It can prepare their own food materials. Yes, it can prepare their own food materials. It can prepare their own food materials. That means the viscum, whether it is depending upon the host for food materials. No. Why? Because as viscum contains leaves, it can perform photosynthesis and it can prepare their food materials. That means this viscum, as it is one of the incomplete stem parasite, that means it is incompletely depending upon the host for only water and minerals. For host only for water and minerals. That means pastoral roots of viscum. Which roots of viscum here? Pastoral roots of viscum. Pastoral roots of viscum, it penetrates only into the xylem of the host. It penetrates only into the xylem of the host in order to absorb only water and minerals, but not for food materials. That means pastoral roots penetrates into the phloem in incomplete stem parasite, namely known as viscum. No. Why? Because as it contains leaves, it can perform photosynthesis, it can prepare their own food materials. That means it is not depending upon host for food materials, it is depending upon host for water and minerals. Now see here, pastoral roots penetrates into which xylem of the host? That is nothing but in the stem parasite, as it already I told you, that it is nothing but shows end-arc condition. That itself it is showing which condition? End-arc condition. That means protoxylem towards center, metaxylem towards periphery. That means pastoral roots of the viscum penetrates into xylem of the host. Pastoral roots penetrates into which one, Amma? Xylem of the host in order to absorb only water and minerals. Water and minerals. This is about incomplete stem parasite. Now goes to complete root parasite. Now goes to complete root parasite. What is the example for complete root parasite? That is nothing but Rafflesia. That is nothing but Rafflesia. So Rafflesia, it is one of the angiospermic plant. It is one of the angiospermic plant. It is one of the angiospermic plant. It produces largest flower. Yes, it is producing largest flower. So largest flower, it produces a largest flower. This flower gives which smell? This flower gives rotten meat smell. This flower gives which smell? Rotten meat smell. This flower gives rotten meat smell. That means which one plays an important role in pollination here means here the insect namely known as a fly, namely known as carrion fly. This carrion fly always loves rotten meat smell, due to which this carrion fly is attracted towards the largest flower producing angiosperm, that is nothing but Rafflesia, due to which here the pollination is done by carrion fly. That is nothing but carrion fly. And one more thing, this Rafflesia, whether it produces leaves or whether it does not produce leaves. So this Rafflesia, it does not produce leaves. As Rafflesia, it does not produce leaves, due to which it cannot perform photosynthesis, due to which it cannot prepare their own food materials. That means here food materials are absent. Why? Because here the leaves are absent, due to which it cannot perform photosynthesis, due to which here the food materials are completely absent. Due to which what happens here? The ostoral roots of Rafflesia, they penetrates into host, they penetrates into which one? Host, into xylem, in order to absorb water and minerals, into phloem, in order to absorb which one? In order to absorb food materials. In order to absorb which materials? Food materials. Now, this Rafflesia penetrates into xylem, I told, in order to absorb water and minerals. That means roots shows whether exarch xylem or endarch xylem, means root always shows exarch xylem. Root always shows which xylem? Exarch xylem. What is meant by exarch xylem? That is nothing but a protoxylem towards epidermis, whereas metaxylem towards center. Protoxylem towards epidermis and metaxylem towards center. Due to which here the ostoral roots, they penetrates into the xylem into which one first? Ostoral roots penetrates into protoxylem in order to absorb water and minerals. This is about complete root parasite. Once again, complete root parasite, that is nothing but Rafflesia, which is it is one of the angiospermic plant. It produces largest flower, but Rafflesia is not called as largest flowering plant. Largest flowering plant means it is one of the wrong option. But it produces largest flower, yes, it is one of the correct option. And whereas this gives which smell means it gives bad odor. It gives rotten meat smell. This rotten meat smell, it is attracted by means of carrion fly, due to which here the pollination will occurs. Here the Rafflesia, as it does not shows leaves, where that it cannot prepare their food materials. So it depends upon the host, not only for food materials and also for water and minerals. That means ostoral roots penetrates into the host, into the xylem in order to absorb water and minerals, into the phloem in order to absorb food materials. Now what I am saying means into the xylem, whether it is entering into the protoxylem or whether it is entering into metaxylem. That means in the xylem it is here the root shows exarch xylem. What is meant by exarch xylem? Protoxylem towards epidermis, metaxylem towards center. That means ostoral roots penetrates into only protoxylem of the host in order to absorb water and minerals. And next goes to incomplete root parasite. Incomplete root parasite. Now, in this incomplete root parasite, what is that example? That is nothing but striga. Incomplete root parasite, that itself it is nothing but a striga. That means this striga, whether it is showing leaves means yes, it shows leaves. That means it can prepare their own food material by means of a process namely known as photosynthesis. Yes. That means here the food materials are synthesized. Food materials, they are synthesized. That means ostoral roots of striga. Ostoral roots of which one here? Ostoral roots of striga. Ostoral roots of striga. penetrates only into the xylem, penetrates only into the xylem in order to absorb only water and minerals but not for food materials. So, as it is not completely depending upon the host, as it is incompletely depending upon the host only for water and minerals but not for food materials, so it is nothing but incomplete root parasite. Now, what happens means, now this pastoral roots penetrates either into protoxylem or either into metaxylem, means it always enters into protoxylem. Why? Because here also it shows which type of xylem, means exarch xylem. Here also it shows which type of xylem, exarch xylem. That means protoxylem towards periphery and metaxylem towards center. That means pastoral roots first penetrates into protoxylem of the host in order to absorb water and minerals only. This is about incomplete root parasite. Now see here. Now, what is the first option? Means pastoral roots. Pastoral roots penetrates into penetrates into xylem. Penetrates into xylem. Can you tell me what are the examples called as? Pastoral roots penetrates into xylem. Can you call what are that example means? That is nothing but complete stem parasite, incomplete stem parasite, complete root parasite, incomplete root parasite. All examples are comes under pastoral roots penetrates into xylem. Pastoral roots penetrates into xylem, that is nothing but complete stem parasite, that is nothing but cuscuta. Incomplete stem parasite, that is nothing but viscum. Complete root parasite, that is nothing but rafflesia. And incomplete root parasite, that is nothing but striga. That is nothing but which one here? Striga. So, pastoral roots penetrates into xylem. All these four examples comes under. Now, pastoral roots penetrates into phloem. Pastoral roots penetrates into phloem. What are that examples? Can you tell me? That means those are nothing but incomplete stem parasite, incomplete stem parasite, and incomplete root parasite. Incomplete stem parasite, that is nothing but viscum. Incomplete root parasite, that is nothing but striga. Now, pastoral roots penetrates only into xylem. Only into xylem. What is that? What is the differentiating between this one and this one? Means pastoral roots penetrates into xylem. All four examples. Pastoral roots penetrates only into xylem. That is nothing but incomplete stem parasite and incomplete root parasite. Here the pastoral roots penetrates only into the xylem but not into the phloem. Next goes to pastoral roots. Pastoral roots penetrates into phloem. Pastoral roots penetrates into phloem. What are that examples? Can you tell me? Means that is nothing but complete stem parasites and complete root parasite comes here as an examples. So, here complete stem parasite, that is nothing but cuscuta. Next, complete root parasite, that is nothing but rafflesia. Comes under as an examples. Pastoral roots penetrates only into the phloem. Pastoral roots penetrates only into the phloem. That it does not shows no examples. Examples cannot be identified where the pastoral roots penetrates only into the phloem. Only into the phloem, no parasites can transport their pastoral roots only into the phloem. Is that clear? Now, pastoral roots penetrates into xylem. All examples. Complete stem parasite cuscuta, incomplete stem parasite viscum, complete root parasite rafflesia, and incomplete root parasite, that is nothing but striga. And whereas pastoral roots penetrates only into the xylem. That is nothing but incomplete stem parasite viscum, and whereas incomplete root parasite, that is nothing but striga. Pastoral roots penetrates into phloem. That is nothing but complete stem parasite that is Cuscuta complete root parasite, that is nothing but Rafflesia. Hosteal roots penetrates only into the phloem. There it is does not shows any types of examples. It does not shows any examples for this one. This we completed this root modifications.